Hi everyone, welcome to the channel, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jack, welcome to Fiber Arts with Jack. So over on Twitch, which is where I stream 4 days a week, so if you're not already following me over there, I'm going to put a link in the description for my Twitch channel. Please go ahead and go follow me, especially if you want to see live crocheting content or other fiber arts content or me just rambling on being a goofball and, you know, the usual. I try to do a chill stream, so come on over and join me over there if you like. But over on Twitch the other week, one of my new followers had lamented about being really intimidated and not knowing how to get started with crochet. And I asked very seriously if they would like it if I did a beginner's crochet video talking about supplies, what should be in your beginner kit, things of that nature. And they said absolutely yes. So this is that video. For those that don't know me, hi, my name is Jack. I'm a crocheter, and a fiber artist. I do a variety of things, a variety crafter, as, Pix would say over on Twitch. And I have been crocheting since I was 6 years old. My 31st birthday just happened on Friday. I've been crocheting for 25 years. It's the one thing I can say I have over 20 years experience in. That being said, that makes me a little qualified, I would hope, in order to teach you what you need. In today's video, we're not going to get into the hands-on technique just yet. This is going to be a playlist. By the time I'm done with you, you should know exactly what to do, and you should be able to look at a pattern and go, oh, okay, you want this stitch and this much, and okay, got it. Baby steps, though. So, firstly, the first thing I want to do with everyone is if you are scared or intimidated by crochet and you're not sure what to do, I'm here for you. It's okay. First things first, come and take a deep breath with me, all right? All right, deep breath taken. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the supplies that you need. And I am going to say this, I'm going to sound like a broken record by the end of this video. Do not buy the fancy things. I know it's very tempting. You want to go on Etsy. You want to support some small businesses. You want to go, ooh, look at that pretty wood hook. Ooh, look at that resin hook. Ooh, look at that hook. Oh, look at this. Oh, that. What about this yarn bolt? Stop. Stop. You don't need all that, okay? Yarn bowls are optional. And when it comes to beginning, you want to start with things that are budget friendly and that are durable. Just in case either A, this winds up not being your thing, or B, you break something. Now, in the 25 years that I have been crocheting, I have never once broken a hook. Not once. Mind you, this is every single hook I own, minus one little rascal that seems to have slipped out of the bag. But, if you can tell, there's a theme here. I use metal hooks. In fact, this is the hook that my mom started to teach me to crochet with. This is an old school boy size J, alright? You don't need to start with this size in particular. You just need something that feels comfortable in your hand and is appropriate for the size of yarn that you're going to be using. More on that in a bit, okay? Yarn size and hook size go together. Like I said, we'll get into that later. I'm going to try to do chapters in this video as best as I can, so that way if you need to jump around, you can do so, okay? So, let's take a look at these metal hooks, because this is what I want people to start with. I swear by boy, this is what I've been using for the entire time that I've been crocheting. There is a difference between the boy style and the Susan Bates. The Susan Bates is considered an inline. You can see how tight that is up on the neck. I personally don't like this style. It does not feel right to me. It may feel right to you. If it does, marvelous. Go ahead and use them. These were given to me by somebody a long time ago. She was like, you crochet, my mom doesn't anymore. Here, you want these hooks? Sure. Gave me these Susan Bates. I tried them. I didn't like them. Try a different couple brands, see what you like, but make sure they're quality. Boy hooks are really, really nice. No, I'm not sponsored. I wish I was, but I'm not. The amount of hooks that I use from them is not even funny. The only time I've had to buy replacement hooks is if I've lost some. Hence why I literally bought a pack of J-size hooks one year, because I lost it like 3 times, and I just bought a 4-pack of them because it was going to be easier than trying to get new ones. Or maybe it was a 3-pack. I don't know. Long time ago. So, you can find a pack of boy hooks at Walmart or Amazon for decently cheap. You can get all the way from the 00 all the way up to size K in boy hooks in a handy carry case for about, I think, $30 on Amazon. Maybe even a little bit less. I think I saw one for maybe $15. So just take a look. Just make sure you get a decent brand. Boy, Susan Bates. Those are the ones that I know of. Boy, I swear by for forever. Can you tell I like these hooks? There are different materials for your hooks. When you get to the point where you want to stay in this long term, you absolutely know what you like, what you don't like, what your preferences are, then you can switch to a fancier hook like this one. This was just given to me by a friend. It is a bone crochet hook because I wanted to try one. She picked it up for me at an event. I haven't gotten a chance to fool around with this yet. Like I said, cheap first. These actually aren't bad quality for being cheap. Like they are frugal. The frugal buy, we'll go with that. Get something that's going to be durable, beginner friendly, aka cheap, but not too cheap. Don't go to Temu unless you absolutely have no choice. All right? Start with the metal ones. And then eventually you can work your way up into wood and bone and natural materials like this, or resin, polymer clay, things like that. Okay? That being said, you do not need to get the really tiny hooks. You don't need every single size hook in the world. A good starter set will do you well. These tiny ones, I will caution, these itty-bitty ones are meant for lace. This is a boy size 7. Numerical size 7. You see how there's... Focus. There we go. You see how there's not a letter on there? And how every other one has a letter? Where is my... Like, this is a size D/3. It's 3 to 3.25 millimeter hook. It's a 3.25 millimeter hook. That's what this is. See how tiny that is? It's kind of hard for the camera to pick up. These are meant for lace. Lace crochet is a whole other monster. We will talk about that later because I haven't even tried lace yet. So keep that in mind. If you see teeny tiny hooks like this, they're not meant for you unless you are doing lace work, okay? Keep that in mind. This should be the smallest size hook you will need at any point in time, unless you're doing something super detailed, super fine, or lace. Okay? Keep that in mind. All right. So, that being said, you can easily get a nice set. Now, but Jack, what about these? Yes, what about these? This is a plastic 11.5 millimeter size P. This I got for doing Afghans. Same with this big boy, which I believe is a Q. Or maybe bigger. These I've had for a while. I picked them up for really chunky yarn. If you need an ergonomic handle, you can get metal boy hooks in J, K, and N with the ergonomic handle like this. I have only ever needed these one time, and that is when I was suffering from a really bad case of carpal tunnel / nerve damage. My left hand looked like this. It doesn't anymore. It's a story for another time. I had nerve damage here and here, ulnar and median. And it took a while for it to heal, but crocheting actually helped that. If you feel like you need an ergonomic hook, go for an ergonomic hook set, with the grippies, if you need it. I would still encourage to just start with this. Okay? We've already touched on the Susan Bates. So, now that we've talked a little bit about hooks, and your sizing, we'll get into that. For now, get yourself a good starter set and go from there, alright? But, if you are prone to losing your hooks and your things, even if they're in a case, I'm going to teach you what I did. I kept losing these hooks all across the house when I was younger, to the point where I just could not deal with it anymore. So, one year at the back to school shopping at Walmart, I picked up this pencil case. It was cheap, but this is bright neon fluorescent green with metallic shiny OMG on it. And this big old thing, this even holds more than that. It's got my knitting needles and my pom-pom makers and a couple other things in here. But it holds all of these hooks. So I picked this up for a couple of bucks. Wasn't anything too crazy or special. And from there, I just put my hooks in it. I was able to put everything I needed in here. Now this guy's a little bit stiff, but he just kind of shoves in there. Get the little guys in there. And this holds my entire kit. That's my note about cases. I know that I needed something that was bright enough that I could scan the room, the cluttered craft room, office, living room, what have you, bedroom, and I needed to be able to spot it immediately, or a chunk of it if it was underneath something. And this is my solution to that. I have not lost any hooks since, except for the G who keeps running off and I don't know where he is, but I'll find him. Another thing you're going to need besides your hooks to put in your case in your kit, you're going to need either a pair of scissors or some thread snips. Either will do. You do not have to be fancy. These are just my thread snips that I have from sewing and also from weaving. But these are Fiskars. Nice ergonomic handle. I would suggest if you're going to do snips, have something with a lock. Otherwise, these are a pair of Westcott scissors from Walmart. I had another pair of scissors in here. I don't know what happened to it. But pick yourself up a pair of scissors. That's all you need. Make sure it fits in here. Boom. There you go. Done. If you want snips, you can do snips. These stay in my weaving basket. Another thing that I would suggest picking up is a fabric tape measure. Now, this is going to come in a little tiny roll. You're going to want to unroll it and let it relax. Folding it like this is actually healthier for the life of the fabric tape measure. But you can put this also in your bag, in your case, whatever you choose to store your stuff in. And you can keep that in there. This is really handy if you need to make something to measure. Like, for instance, the corner-to-corner baby blankets that I have my pattern up for, the other video on my channel right now. I use my fabric tape measure to measure out each side so I know it's hit the right length and it's time to decrease. So having a fabric tape measure handy is going to be helpful. And that stays also in my weaving basket, which is over there. So, now that we've touched on scissors, your case, your fabric tape measure, tips for picking a case, pick something that you can easily identify. The louder, the better, in my opinion, but that's because I tend to lose things. If you like the standard hook case that comes with your boy set, if you get one that has a zip-up pouch with it, wonderful. If you want to crochet yourself a hook case or a little tiny bag to hold all your stuff in, marvelous. That's totally fine. Whatever works best for you. I just happen to know that this works best for me. So, push this over here. Now, we're going to talk about hook size and also, that's the 9. We're going to talk about hook size and correlation to yarn next. All right? When you are picking your yarn, you pick your yarn for your project first and foremost. And from there, you're going to figure out your yarn, your hook size. Everything kind of depends on your project. So I have a couple examples here. This is acrylic and this is cotton. This is Lion Brand Mandala Baby in acrylic. This is what I use for all of my baby blankets. When you flip over your cake or skein of yarn and you look at the label, it's going to tell you your grams and your yardage, your ounces, your meters, what have you. It's going to tell you care instructions. Because this one is 100% acrylic, this is machine washable and dryable. Okay. and it's going to give you washing instructions here. And of course, the preview of what the different colors are supposed to look like if you have a self-striping cake like this. But one of the most important parts is right here. Not only is it going to tell you your yardage, your meterage, and your net weight of what about your cake or skein is going to weigh, it's also going to tell you what classification of yarn weight it is. This is very important. This particular yarn is a number 3 lightweight yarn. This is considered a DK weight, which is just... Where's the tail at? This is what this looks like. In comparison to a medium 4-weight cotton... Hold on. I never pull from the center, that's just me. I just kind of slide this. It's going to be difficult, ain't you? Ah, there we go. He's naked. Alright, where is your end? Here we go. In comparison to this, which is a size 4 medium weight cotton, they're going to be a little similar, but you're going to see a difference. Now, keep in mind, this one is cotton. That means it's going to be completely different. Okay? Scooch this back on here real quick. So another thing that you're going to see on these labels is for both knitting and crochet, it's going to give you the gauge. Gauge is a whole other monster, but basically what gauge is supposed to do is it helps you figure out whether or not you have the right hook size for your project, and it gives you a gauge to use to look at and say, oh, I need to go down a hook size, I need to go up a hook size. So in this case, we're going to ignore the knitting one. For this cotton yarn, a 4-inch by 4-inch square, and it's always recommended to make it bigger than that and just measure a 4-inch by 4-inch square. You basically make a swatch to start with. With a 5mm hook, which is a US size 8/H, which I should have here in just a second. Here we are. See, this says H/8 5mm hook. That is the recommended hook size for both this cake and also this cake. Because it also says so right here. Very hard to see, but it says H-8 5mm hook, 20 rows, 16 stitches in a 4x4 square. This one says it should be 17 rows of 14 single crochet. It's always single crochet when you're doing a swatch for your gauge. So these are two different types of materials. But you start with what's on the label for your size. If you're just kind of taking it for a swing, you really like this, say you really like the color of the yarn, you like the feel of the material, you look at this and you go, okay, I have that hook size, let me see if this is going to work for my project. And then you go from there. Alright? So this is cotton, this is acrylic. I'm going to pull out a couple different other options, because you have more than just acrylic and cotton, you also have wool. Word of caution, when you are first starting, I would recommend not starting with cotton because it does not have the same, I don't want to say it doesn't have the same curl and kink to it, literal term, that, you know, wool or acrylic will have, but acrylic is going to be a little cheaper, hopefully. Cotton, you need to get used to your stitches before you start messing around with cotton. Cotton is good for projects where you need cotton, such as cotton baby drool bibs, where they have to be cotton so they can, you know, because that's what you need. You need specific cotton bibs for your babies, as I was told. But you use cotton for projects where you specifically need cotton, like baby bibs, market bags, things like that. All right. So let me put the cotton away for now, and we're going to put the acrylic aside here. There is also wool, and this is where things can get pricey. Wool is really nice. Wool is also expensive. Most of the time, when you find good quality wool yarn, it's what we call hand spun. And I have some examples. All right. These are by a local to Pennsylvania designer named Kelly Straub. She is the brains and the awesome behind Snips Cat Designs. Each one of these skeins is $30 US. And this is only 246 yards. These are very high quality, hand-dyed, hand-spun yarn, meaning she has sat there at her spinning wheel and spun this herself. Okay? The caveat to this is these are really high quality yarns that you can make some beautiful, beautiful things with. For instance, one of my favorite projects, and the first project that I did with wool, which was actually from Snips Cat, there's all different types of breeds of sheep and critters that you can use their wool from. We're going to talk about that in a completely different video. But this project, which I am still immensely proud of, this was my first project with wool. This was also my first project making tassels. This is a triangle scarf that I made for my boyfriend as a thank you for taking care of me during surgery and also a Christmas present. I made this back in 2022. My ends, unfortunately, did not get woven in as well as I would like. Hooked by Robin has a beautiful video on crocheting in your ends, and it's lovely. But this is BFL, Blue-Faced Leicester. It's spelled Leicester. It's silly English. It's pronounced Leicester. But let me tell you, when this crocheted so smooth, it wasn't even funny. However, remember what I said about the hooks. This was also $30 a skein, and I was only able to get 3 colors. I had just enough to make this project. I was so concerned I was going to run out, it wasn't even funny. So keep that in mind, okay? So now that we've shown off some examples of wool, acrylic, and cotton, there's also other different types out there, but those are the 3 basic ones that you're going to be running into. If you're going to, I can't even say Joann's anymore. If you're going to Michael's or Walmart or a different craft store entirely, if you have a local mom and pop shop that sells yarn, if you're not going to a high-end yarn store, you're going to more than likely run into Lion Brand, Caron, which Red Heart is under Caron. The Red Heart Super Savers are really good, cheap yarn. Okay, there's going to be a riot. Super Saver yarn by Red Heart is good because it is cheap. However, it is scratchy, not great quality acrylic. Lion Brand is a little bit, kind of the middle of the road between Red Heart and Caron as far as price goes from my experience, though they do have some that are more expensive than others. Everything's going to be priced a little bit different. But acrylic is affordable. It's also machine washable. Keep in mind, though, it is a completely 100% synthetic material, which means it's not exactly as biodegradable as we'd like it to be. However, do what you can with what you got, okay? Do not break the bank going and buying a bunch of really high-quality yarn for, say, like a baby blanket. I always do acrylic for all of my baby blankets because babies are messy, okay? If you want to save up some money, go to a local fiber show and buy a bunch of really good quality hand spun for like a sweater project or a scarf or something for yourself or a gift for someone you care about deeply, like the scarf for my boyfriend, then by all means go for it. But while you're learning, start with something like acrylic. It's going to be a lot more cost effective and budget friendly. Okay? All right. Let's see. We've talked about the case, the yarn, the hooks, some optional things that you may want eventually. I know I mentioned yarn bowls. They also work really well as storage devices. They come in wood or in ceramic. You can also get them 3D printed plastic. You do not need to have a yarn bowl. It is totally okay if you don't. I didn't have a yarn bowl for over 20 years for crocheting. I just sat there and wildly swung a ball around. So, something else that I'm going to touch on really quickly before I wrap this up, because, been talking for a little while and I don't want to, kill anyone's brains from talking too much. Keep in mind that while your yarn label may call for a certain hook, there are instances where going up or down a size may be better for your specific project. For example, this is one of my baby blankets that I'm currently working on. This is the same yarn that I have here. This is Lion Brand Mandala Baby. It's in the same color and everything. Same size. This calls for a 5mm hook. We talked about this a little bit ago when we were talking about labels. However, I don't use a 5mm hook when I do my baby blankets. I use a 4.25. But Jack, you just said to use the hook. Start with the hook that's recommended for your yarn, for your yarn on the label. I know. However, the reason why I do that is because of the fact that for my baby blankets, I want them to be nice and warm. I want the stitches to be a little bit more compact. And if you want your stitches to be a little bit more compact, you go down a hook size. So that way it's tighter together. This is also so we don't get tiny baby fingers poking through all of the gaps. If you need something to be looser, you would go up a size. General rule of thumb. Play around with it, start small, and don't worry about making mistakes. Mistakes happen. Get messy, people. Don't make me quote Miss Frizzle. So, in the next video, we're going to be talking about beginning stitches, how to hold your hook, things of that nature. If this was helpful, please give it a like and subscribe. And don't forget about hitting the notification bell to keep up to date for all the different videos that I'm going to be coming out with in the future. I hope this was really helpful. Thanks for tuning into Fiber Arts with Jack. If you have any questions at all, please put them down in the comments, and I'll try to answer as many as I can. I'll also keep those in mind for future videos. If you would like to see anything specific, like a specific technique, or you don't understand a concept, let me know down below in the comments. Drop me a line, and I will try to make a video on it in the future. I hope this was helpful. I'll see everyone in the next one. Have a great day, and take care of yourselves.